Scorpio, welcome to 2022 December, where you're going to have a lot more fun, enjoyment of your life, maybe some really great romance, new or old, picking up steam, and maybe some connection to a possibility of a very lovely trip. Sorry about I'm just squeaking, my seat is squeaking. If you're new to my channel, my name is Lori Lothian. I am using tropical Western zodiac astrology. I'm also a traditional Hellenistic astrologer using ancient tools and techniques from both ancient Greece, Persia, Babylon, the whole work. So what we're doing today is we're talking about December so that you can navigate your month ahead with better ease and flow and pick up some of the highlights to look forward to and the quicksand to avoid. Don't forget, if you are new, please like and subscribe and hit my bell for notifications. Why? Because then you'll be notified when I do my live premieres and you can join me in the chat box. The last bit of business, Divine Timing Masterclass is coming up and it's next February, and I have a wait list. If you want to get into that class and get a discount, but being on my early bird discount wait list, please check it out. Beginner, advanced beginner, intermediate astrologers only, please. All right, moving on, or people learning astrology. To start off with, this December is a time of year every single year where you have the big Capricorn pileup. That would be because Pluto's sitting there already. Igea is joining the fray this year. Mercury, Venus, Sun, and Moon, everybody just conglomerates into what's a stellium of activity in Capricorn every winter, every December. Now, this time, this is an interesting version because we have an addition of Igea, the healer, moving through this part of the sky over the December timeframe. And it allows you to affect some sort of healing and goodness regarding the ability to travel or take short trips, to have a healing journey or trip that you plan or take sometime in the month of December, as well as a strong possibility of a reconnection or healing connection with a sibling. Or it can also be extended family like aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews. But the third house Capricorn stellium is in your house of siblings. And if there's any rift or difficulty with you and a sibling or just being out of touch, this could very much mean that sometime in December, you guys are reconnecting. Now, I talked earlier in the intro teaser about this romance bit, and that's because Jupiter, the god of expansion and the god of good luck and growth and optimism, entered back into your romance house at the end of October 2022 and will be there until December 20th. And what's really lovely about that is that this slide back into Pisces is a time in which he's completing what he began in the first 5 months and a half or so of 22, especially April and the beginning of May. Think about creativity, romance, pleasure, joy, sexuality, creative endeavors, your independent business enterprise, being inspired, hearing the muse, and think about fertility and children and babies, because the fifth house is the house of pregnancy for a woman, or if you're the partner of the female, then of course that's about your woman becoming pregnant. And a lot of Scorpios are in a fertility transit that started with Jupiter in 2020 in the like May, June, July being in Pisces, then the first 5 months of 22. And this is the last pass of Jupiter in the fertility house until 12 more years from now. So it's a really sweet time if you are planning to have a child or wanting to have a child to work on that pregnancy thing, but also, it's your inspiration, your muse, your creativity. I mean, it's such a great transit for like downloading or working on one of the best like songs you've ever written or books you've ever penned or, projects you've ever done. If you're in the acting or performing field, this is lucky opportunities to win the day at an audition or something like that. Jupiter here is in a money luck house from winning the lottery, gaming, casinos, and speculation. Now, what I love about December is he's moving direct, right? So he started moving direct at the third week of November, and he's picking up speed in the last couple of degrees of Pisces. So of course, obviously Scorpio rising, this is a trine to you, a water trine to flow, good for your health, your well-being, your sense of optimism, your joy, your purpose in life being more strongly defined, because the fifth house is a purpose-oriented house. But as he does this forward momentum, he's picking up speed and getting a little bit faster, and he's bringing you the potential, right, in his direct motion for money luck. So not that you should break the bank and go to the casino and spend all your money, but it's not a bad time to take a little bit of a financial risk in some kind of winning of money and see what happens. Just play, there's an expression in Canada, know your limit, play within it, but it's certainly good for unexpected financial outcomes that are positive. And, the fifth house is in a relationship to all the other money houses. It's very angular. So money energy is definitely coming your way. or could be coming your way. If it's not money, again, more romance. And if you're single and a new relationship starts with Jupiter in the fifth house, or you're being in dating somebody, it's very auspicious for that relationship for you. And if you are with somebody already, and maybe you haven't been having any fun, maybe your relationship's kind of fallen on hard times or difficult, the joy has fallen out of your love relationship, it will pick back up again. And you'll start to feel the love with your partner, or your partner will feel the love toward you. It's just going to be a really good transit for renewing existing relationship romantically, sexually, and affectionately as well. One of the things I want to knock out here and tell you about is that Venus and Mercury are traveling close together. They usually do, but pretty close together right now. And they're going to hold hands pretty well at the same time. December 6th, Mercury crosses across the threshold from your second house of earnings into your third house of siblings, play, joy, siblings, travel, skills-based learning, short distance travel, etc. And then following suit right afterwards is Venus on the 10th of the month of December. And both of those planets will be there for the entire month of December. And in fact, Mercury, the god of the traveler's patron of protection planet, will be in your house of short trips and travel all the way through till February because of a retrograde. So a longer story that I'll get into in January would be the likelihood of a trip or a journey back to a place you've been, or going back to learn something you've already been studying before, or something like that. But basically, it's going to mean that you've taken the highlight off of what in November was a lot of focus on second house finances, money and possessions, earnings. That might have been a good time, Venus going through your second, to get a promotion or a raise, or to get something good going financially, something better in your work environment. So that was what was happening back then, right? You're done with that now. It is a completed story. And now we're working in December, mostly on third house matters. Now, if you write, I don't care if it's songwriting or book writing, writing and communications are very third house energies. And so if there's anything that you're working on in those areas, with Mercury coming in to Capricorn and Venus there as well, this is a wonderful month to really finish up, solidify, or really do something quite significant in the area of writing and communication. Online world, websites and social media platforms can be involved as well with that third house. With that Jupiter going direct, I'm just going to tie one more thing in through your luck house. There's going to be a period of time throughout December where until the 20th, where Jupiter's looking back over at Venus in your third house. So this can be some really good luck financially through things that have to do with local neighborhood environment. So that means like going to the raffle and getting a ticket, or the local casino, or things in your hood could bring you some financial luck. So not so likely things from far away places. Jupiter goes into the next sign of Aries in December 20th, and that's going to be giving you an incredible amount of power to overcome any physical ailments and be very healthy, but also a superpower from December 20th until middle of May next year to succeed in your work environment beyond your current abilities to succeed, like to expand your reach, to blow you up here, bosses loving you up, you expanding your success in career work areas. And often it depends. If you're self-employed, then it's just that your hustle is paying off. And if you're in an employment structure, this is like good times, fun and joy in the work environment with colleagues. This is people in power giving you pats on the back and giving you success upgrades and stuff like that. So if your work matters to you and you do work, like you have a job, this is going to open up some really lovely energy for the first 5 months of 23. But we'll get to that in more detail in my 2023 All Signs videos, which I hope you'll check out when they're released. I am recording this for you on November 15th, but my Patreon community gets everything 3 to 7 days in advance. And if you always want to get ad-free content well ahead of the public, you might want to join my Patreon community. All the information in the description box. It's $5 a month for the basic tier, where you get all that early access. One of the things I want to talk about next, and I've got all my notes here. I should put them up here so I'm not always looking down. That would be smart, Lori. One of the things I want to talk about next is this asteroid about abundance, harvest, fruitfulness, the grain harvest goddess and stuff like that. Her name is Ceres. She also can like scythe out an ending, like cut an ending up, make an ending happen. Anyway, she's going through Libra for the first time since September, October, November of 2018. And that's your 12th house. And she starts to go through there December 18th and will be in the early degrees of Libra until March 22nd before retrograding back out. All I can tell you is it could be a very opportune time for most Scorpios to harvest, reap, and cut away all of their self-undoing addiction, self-sabotaging mire. It's karma too. Clear the karma, cut the karma, harvest the karma. But ways that you kind of like, just want to like undo your life. And sometimes addictions are out of our control biochemically. But I think with the grain goddess and the scythe that harvests things, she will help you remove yourself from addictions. That starts on December the 18th. And you could really find yourself feeling a lot better by March 22nd when she leaves, in terms of being on top of something like that. We have a full moon in early December. It's at Gemini, at 16 degrees conjunct Mars, who's retrograding there. And it will be square the asteroid of business and romantic partnerships, especially committed ones. So there's a bit of a gnarly energy here about cutting away from a partner. The Gemini part of your sky, where Mars is going to be moving all the way through till the third week of March, she started there in August, a very rare long transit, is to do with money that belongs to you and a business partner, a spouse, or the bank. So mortgages, bank loans, credit cards. Now, or investment monies. Now, so with Mars here, there's a lot of focus, but maybe arguing and conflict over some kind of shared resource for some of you Scorpio rising people, or you're just really feeling anxious about the money you have in the markets, who wouldn't be, and you're feeling like you want to throw up because you lost a lot of money, or, your tax rebate didn't come through. I mean, just energy of Mars there is gnarly. But he's a part of a full moon. So if you go back to the end of May and the first 2 weeks of June of 22, that was when we had a lunar event, a new moon in Gemini. And some of the themes then around that kind of shared finances and resources of other people's money is being replayed for you. And I think with the square to Juno in the house of romance, children, and money luck, it could be some conflict financially regarding a child and a commitment financially to a child, or to a romantic partner or lover, or to some kind of creative project you've been involved in, and realizing now you have to sort of cut your losses financially. Maybe something like that is happening. Yet a full moon in a money house is shining a big full light into the house of money. And Mars is like, let's eliminate. So let's eliminate, cut away, and end and sever any kind of bleeding losses you have, maybe in investments or whatever, that are no longer serving you. I have to tell you, with a lot of people like now just shocked and awed by the cryptocurrency debacle with the FTX crash and malfeasance, there's a lot of turbulence in the markets in general. And that's probably something that some of you Scorpios are gasping at with that Mars transit in your 8th house. Alrighty. Let's talk now about some chronological events this month. December 1st to the 5th, Mercury will square Neptune in the beginning of that week, and then followed up by Venus opposing Mars and sextiling Saturn. Now, Venus, first let's go. Mercury likes information that's clean, clear, and you can make sense of it. And he's going through your money house still in the first week of December. When he's square to Neptune, it's literally some kind of manipulation or lack of clarity around money, or something to do with money and children, or possessions and your lover, or possessions and children, or money and a creative endeavor. Just some ideas are being cleared up. You're going to be able to have a clear understanding of something that was confusing to you, quite often about money, because of Mercury's placement in your earnings house. Then with this Venus opposing Mars coming up right after that, this is literally a very intense energy that can be very hot for romance. And if you are single and meet somebody under this, you're going to fall madly, crazily, hormonally in love. And the placement of Venus in the sky when she opposes Mars, okay, which does matter, is that she's going to be in the sign of Sagittarius, which is also where she likes to get very adventurous and playful in love. But in your place, it's your earnings house, and she's opposing Mars in your other people's money's house. So there could be some intense and very profoundly invigorating conversations, because the 5th house is a speech house around money and assets and possessions and earnings, and even possessions like a home you may own with someone else. A lot of intense conversation going on here. Now, if you're single Scorpio and you meet somebody under this influence, it's hot, passionate, and very sexually chemistry wise good. However, what I like about this is that Venus is sextiling Saturn, Mars is trining Saturn. And the upside is, even though things are intense, they can have lasting, stabilizing value. With Saturn in your 4th house of home and real estate, there's a possibility, one, you have an elder living with you, and this is a conversation with great grandpa Jones who's living with you or something, and it's all intense, but it involves monies like estate and inheritances. And, Mars is in an inheritance house, and there may be very vigorous conversations, maybe with a female, about your share of an inheritance, but also about home. And so some of you, this may be conversations about money, investments, property, real estate, buying, selling, themes like that. Especially with Jupiter moving into your tenancy house December 20th. From December 20th add till the middle of May, you're really good to get a new pet and really get the right pet for you, as well as secure a lease or rent a place, or if you're a landlord, rent it out and have a good outcome there as well. So there may be a connection between that later story and this energy of intensity around property and residence and money and other people's money that's going on for you in the first week of December. December 8th to the 9th, the sun will oppose Mars, and that's a conflict with somebody in authority usually, or someone trying to control you, or some need to stand your ground against some kind of authority energy. Well, of course, it's still, one of the stories that we've been talking about, December 8th and 9th, right? You're going to be having I hope I said that Venus was opposing Mars on December 1 to 5, because my brain just went offline. I think I could have said 8th and 9th. So back that up. But on December 8th to 9th, that's when Mars follows up after Venus was there with the opposition to Mars. Now, it could be an extension of what Venus started, that heavy conversation about property, residence, money, other people's money. And now you immediately have this sense of having to go to battle and to speak strongly for something that is purposefully useful and you need or want in money, residence, property, real estate, resources, inheritances, and stuff like that. Stand your ground. And then Venus will be in a square to Jupiter around the 8th and 9th as well. Now, Venus squaring Jupiter from Sagittarius is more of that same narrative about what kind of money or property issues may be ongoing that could involve a lover, a child, a creative project. And yet Venus square Jupiter can also be lucky. And so you could have a very good lucky money break sometime around the 8th or 9th, especially given they're both Jupiter in a money house, money luck, and Venus in an earnings house. A pop in your finances could be possible here. Hope you win the lottery. December 12th to the 15th, there's a beautiful flowing energy of goodness between Saturn and the sun. It's called a sextile. Now, the sextile energy is soft and gentle, but fortifying and good. And so it could be some really good money news regarding an elder living in your home, some obligations and duties in your home that are being resolved and with a good financial outcome, and a sense of peace and ease around money and home issues as some resolution is coming into your sky here that could look very positive for you. And it could involve a mother or mother figure in one way, because the fourth house where Saturn is a house of the mother. There is a square from the sun to Neptune, again, having to clear up any kind of confusion, illusion, and fog of misunderstanding with a child, with a lover, with a creative project, that kind of thing. December 17th and 18th, Mercury will trine Uranus. And then on the 21st and 22nd, Venus will trine Uranus. So it's a two-parter of one big story. There's no doubt about it. They will be connected. Now, Uranus is unexpected, shocking, exciting, awe-inspiring, unpredictable events in your relationship, marriage house, or business partner house. That's where Uranus is, or the house of legal contracts and documents. But because it's an earth trine, it's good for your resources, good for your having things you need, money, food, and shelter. And it's happening from the part of the sky where you have that pile up, the big Capricorn pile up, your third house, because now Venus and Mercury are in that part of your sky, and they're flowing and giving love vibes over to Uranus. So sudden, exciting developments with a sibling, and uncle, cousin, niece, or nephew, with something going on in your local neighborhood, with your online world, or with something that you want to learn. And if it involves contracts or agreements, even more so. It could also be an unexpected and exciting opportunity to travel, and maybe your partner, business or love partner, is involved, and you're really delighted by these opportunities that are emerging for you between December 17th and the 22nd. It looks very sweet. I mean, there is a bit of a gnarly energy with the sun squaring Jupiter. Again, that can also look like conflict and disagreements around things to do with your children and your romantic life or your creative life. But for the most part, things look really, really positive. And then it's on December 22nd that the sun does move into Capricorn, or 21st, 22nd. And that can open up a really nice energy as the sun transitions away and out of the Sagittarius quarter, like kind of leaving with a bang, squaring Jupiter. Squaring Jupiter. I apologize. Yeah. So the sun squaring Jupiter around that turning point, right? The 20th, 21st. And that can look like a kind of financial challenge or financial break, because sometimes Jupiter squares can be positive. So we're tying into some money stories again. But then, of course, the sun will move into Capricorn on the winter solstice and join the fray. It looks like you could be having a lot of fun in your local neighborhood, maybe traveling as well in the December 21st onward period. Now we have a moon coming up on the 23rd, a new moon in Capricorn at 1 degree, conjunct Hygeia, the newest goddess to the party. I mean, she's just joining in the whole fray of fun and everything else in December. Well, having Hygeia and joined or combined with a new moon, a new beginning, brings a new fresh healing, a new beginning regarding sibling relationships, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews, things to do with your local neighborhood, trips and travel, and skills-based learning, plus your online world. And this new moon will have fruitfulness in the summertime, during the summer solstice time, when we're going to have a opposite moon, right? We're going to have, instead of a Capricorn new moon, we're going to have a Capricorn full moon next summer. So I want you to remember you're planting some fresh new seeds for some new healings in those third house matters, which feel very, very positive. I like the vibe for you. And I particularly like for everybody that when this new moon happens at 23 on the 23rd of December, is it the 23rd? Yep. I just really like as well that Jupiter by that point, right, has moved into the early degrees of, bless her, the soul of Jupiter, into the early degrees of Aries. And there is Jupiter's blessings also dovetailing back to this moon. But stay tuned for my all signs moon, in which you'll get a lot more details on that. It's definitely good for your health and your work as well, this moon, because of Jupiter in the 6th house. We're rounding out the month here, and so stay with me. Mercury will sextile Neptune 3 times. It's very rare because of a retrograde, and it can be very good for psychic, intuitive things, but also coming up with new inspiration, downloads, ideas, dreams at night that seem channeled, highly creative, highly useful that way. And Mercury is also about marketing and merchandising. If you're in the film industry, storytelling industry, photography, Hollywood, that could really be a good uplift for you. So the first Mercury sextiling Neptune is the 24th to the 26th of December. And then again on December 31st as he retrogrades, and later on February 5th. So those 3 passes may be interconnected. For you, it's Mercury in Capricorn in your 3rd house of siblings, local neighborhood, trips and travel, etc. And it's sextiling Neptune in the house of joy, fun, play, pleasure, romance, and children. Example, your partner says she's pregnant or he's pregnant, whatever. One person's pregnant, and you need to find a new place to live in your local neighborhood with an extra space for a child that's on the way. Or you get some good news from one of your children that's very positive, that helps you with mercurial matters in the 3rd house. I don't know, trips and travel with a child. Moving forward, December 28th and 29th, we're almost done. Mercury and Venus co-join together in a conjunction that is, a yearly event. So it's not particularly rare. I want to say that, but it's happening in the Capricorn real estate of your chart, which is to say there's some kind of synergy around money and selling. So if you sell products, because this could be a marketing merchandising house, you're going to do really well around that time. It's really often quite good for travel, because Mercury is a protecting planet for travelers. Venus is pleasure. You could be going on a pleasure trip of some sort around the 28th, 29th, and good developments with women or female siblings, very, very highlighted around Christmas. And then December 31st, Venus and Pluto conjunct on New Year's Eve. Well, that's kind of a bit of local debauchery. Don't go overboard. You could be at the pub, the bar, the restaurant, and you could be like really having fun. And if you meet somebody in a local neighborhood and you're a single Scorpio and you meet under Pluto conjunct Venus, it stamps into your relationship intensity. Going very deep. Thanks for listening, Scorpio. Please hit the like button, subscribe, check my bell for notifications. You know when I post something 24 times, 25 times a month. You might also check out my Divine Timing Masterclass in February and sign up for my Cosmic Moonshine newsletter, weekly astrology forecast. Nothing else you'll see anywhere else is privately written by me for the week ahead. And it definitely covers all signs and stuff. And it definitely opens up the gateway for getting a discounted reading and free contest and a bunch of perks with me. I hope you have an amazing holidays and that your December goes well. Take care, all of my Scorpio folk.